No harm, no foul as it relates to reporting standardized test scores to the University of Chicago. That is the topic of today's video. My name is Craig Meister. I'm a college admissions coach. You can learn more about me and how you can work with me one-on-one throughout the entire college admissions process on my website, which is collegemeister.com. And if you're interested in learning about whether or not you are or your student is on track for selective college admission in the United States of America, please go to my new free 3-minute online assessment at areyouontracktogetin.com. Again, that's areyouontracktogetin.com. You'll complete the assessment. It takes 3 minutes. Your results will be emailed to you right away, and they will help you clarify whether or not you are or your student is on track for selective college admission in the United States of America. The University of Chicago has recently announced that it is slightly modifying its test optional policy, which they first introduced back in 2018. One of the most selective colleges and universities to go test optional at the time. This was pre-2020 that University of Chicago took the plunge and became test optional. Well, they've adjusted their test optional policy slightly for the 24-25 admission cycle, and they're calling it officially no harm testing policy. And basically what this means is that they say that you can submit your scores either self-reported on the Common Application, or if you want to send your official scores to University of Chicago, by all means, you can pay for those scores to be sent. But whether you self-report or you have the testing agency send your scores, University of Chicago is basically vowing that if your test scores that you share with University of Chicago during the admissions process do anything other than help your chances of getting in, they will not consider them. Now, this is different than other colleges who are test optional or that are test optional, insofar as you, the student, have to make the decision of whether or not you strategically want to send a 1360 to college X, Y, or Z, or you want to hide the 1360 from college X, Y, or Z. But once you share it, you often have to sign something or check a box on the application somewhere that says you recognize the fact that you're sharing this score and it will be considered for better or for worse, basically. But University of Chicago is basically saying, you know what? Don't even worry about it. Don't even worry even the slightest bit about it. You can send us whatever score you want to send us as long as it's a real score. Obviously, do not lie. I'm not, and Chicago is not advocating for just making up a score. But if you earn a 1380 on the SAT or 29 or 30 on the ACT or whatever score, whether it be a 990, which I would not send to Chicago, or a 35, which I would send to Chicago. But no matter what, if you're getting antsy in your pantses about whether or not you want to send the score to Chicago, then just don't even worry about it. Just send it. Just share it with us, and we'll not even consider it unless it helps you. So that's what they're calling no harm, no foul. They're not calling it no harm, no foul. I'm calling it no harm, no foul. But Chicago is officially calling it the no harm testing policy. Submitting an ACT or SAT is optional and not required for admission. In addition to being test optional, University of Chicago practices a no harm policy for application review when students considering SAT or ACT scores. Any SAT or ACT score submitted will only be used in review if it will positively affect an applicant's chance of admission. Test scores that may negatively impact an admissions decision will not be considered in review. All applicants, including domestic students, international students, and transfer students, will be reviewed under this policy. That is the pull quote, as they say. And look, if you trust the admissions officers at the University of Chicago, then this is a win-win because you get to self-report, which is free, basically. You also don't get to worry too much about, oh my God, is this score good enough? Is it not good enough? It will only be good enough if it's good enough. And as long as we trust them. Now, again, this is putting our trust in people. And that's a hard thing to do in this society today, in this world today. Put trust in people that you don't know. But officially speaking, Chicago is only going to consider your test scores now if they help you. So don't hide them. Just send them. That's what they want you to do. They want you to send your scores because they want the data. They want the data one way or the other, because whether or not they actually really will give you the benefit of the doubt, which I generally believe that's the intention here. They still obviously want to know more about the applicants for their own edification purposes, or maybe, determining whether or not this is a good policy moving forward, whatever. But whatever the case may be, they want your scores, and they'll only consider your scores if you if they find that they're a positive element of your application. Take it for what it's worth. University of Chicago, no harm testing. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up and also consider subscribing to my channel. If you would like to work with me one-on-one throughout or even for just part of the college admissions process, go to my website, which is collegemeister.com. Until next time, stay safe, stay well, and most importantly, stay stress-free throughout the entire college admissions process.